Let's go. Riter Radio, episode 226. We'll have Marla Gibbs on tomorrow. Whoa! Whoa! What was that? What was that? Well, I know what that was, but why was that? Because this was up too loud. That was feedback, huh? All right, we're cool. Bills won. I don't want to talk about that. I'm just kidding. Of course I want to talk about that. Are you kidding? That was awesome. That was, man, that was fun. That was a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Taking incredible pride and self-assuredness and confidence and security that you had taken over the world again. Wresting that from the hands, brains, and throats of Boston was cool. I picture all of them as less friendly Mike O'Briens. Mike's my friend from Boston that came on the show last week, and, you know, he still talks about how the Bills are cute. The Patriots are cute. What the Patriots are trying to do right now is cute. We won a bunch of games. And then I looked at the list of teams they beat, and I know people have been saying the schedule's been soft, but Jesus. I didn't care, because a win's a win. You play who's in front of you. You get your schedule. You play that schedule. That's what everything's based on. But then I looked at their schedule afterward, and I was like, that's a good team. It's probably the second scariest team in the playoffs to me. Maybe the scariest in the AFC when the Bills are in it. Possibly as the 1 seed. Although that seems pretty unlikely. Had Denver lost last night, I was here to tell you the Bills are going to be the 1 seed and everything's going to be unbelievable. That they're going to cruise. But it's not. They're not going to be the 1 seed. They're going to be the 2 seed after they beat the Patriots for the division. And that'll be fine. Win your last 3 games. Patriots lose once to either the Jets or Miami, and the Bills win the division, and they're the 2 seed. And Denver can be the 1 seed. They can have a week off. Scariest team in the playoffs to me, Houston. Second scariest team in the playoffs to me, New England. Third scariest team in the AFC playoffs to me is no one. Blank. It ain't Denver. I know they keep winning. It's not them. That's not the team. It's not Bo Nix and the Broncos representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. It's not that. It could be anyone. You know, obviously, I could be wrong, and it could be them. But that I approach everything in the NFL from the perspective of a Bills fan, and it ain't them, man. It ain't them. Pats look pretty good. They got off to a good start. Not a crazy start. I'm starting to wonder if only me, Scott Wilson, and Josh Allen have seen football games before. Because we keep being blown away by these ridiculous comebacks that are not ridiculous at all. Yeah, it was 21-0. But Jesus, man, if I hear one more person talk about how yesterday's game was a tale of 2 halves, I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, it didn't start great. The Bills had 3 rough drives, both sides of the ball. But really, the offense didn't score its first 3 drives. It did score with about, I know I wrote it down, but it was 5 minutes left or so in the first half. The Bills marched down the field and scored a touchdown. And they left a couple minutes on the clock, and then the Patriots got an absolute garbage field goal to make you go into halftime thinking they were still really in charge of the game. They were not really in charge of the game anymore. It was not the first half Patriots, second half Bills. It was the first 24 minutes or something Patriots and the rest Bills. There's this thing where you defer and you get the ball to start the second half, and there's this thing where you get the ball and you go score, and then halftime comes, and then you go score, and suddenly a 21-point lead is a 7-point lead, and it's just a football game. Now you stop them and you score, and it's tied. I want to remind people, like, we're all losing our minds over this thing. I say we, but not me. I watched that game calmly, as if the Bills went down by a little, and then they came back, and then they won because they're better. And I think there was way too much from what I've read, seen, heard after the fact. I watched the game with my wife only. We're the only people that watched it. Kids were not here. They were off at various events. And at no point, I mean, obviously, down 21-0 is not ideal. I was like, all right, we'll just go score. Josh Allen in his postgame said, score, stop, score. That's a phrase I think needs to be introduced to the average fan. It's a phrase that Scott Wilson and I use always. Every time you're down, it looks like, and I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you I know more than you. Maybe I just watch more crazy football. I've watched every UB game, which is MACtion, which is college football, which is insane anyway. College football is crazy. MAC college football is crazier than college football. And I watch that weekly for 15, 17 years. Like, down 21 means, oh, so you have to score and then stop them and then score and you're down 7? And then we have a game? That's all it means. Score, stop, score. Score, stop, score is a 14-point swing. And you need one of those. When you have Josh Allen, you're always capable of one of those. And I was delighted to hear him in post-game commentary use exactly those words. Scott and I usually say touchdown, stop, touchdown. But it's the same thing, and it flows better. Score, stop, score. That's all he did. That's how you make up. That's how you gain 14 points in a game. You score, then you don't let them score, and then you score. And Josh Allen's on your team, so that happens pretty consistently, pretty regularly. You don't notice it when it happens early in the game. If the Bills score on their first drive of the game, then force a 3-and-out, and then score again, you don't think, oh, yeah, they did it. Score, stop, score. 14 points. That's how you swing a game, by 14 points. And it's a phrase that belongs in the lexicon. It's a phrase that belongs, honestly, it might be the new name of my show because I believe in it so much and believe that people need to think about it so much. That might be what we're doing. Is because I don't need my show to be named after me. It's Riter Radio because that's what it's always been. But as we're growing into something else, growing into something much larger, I need a new name. And I was already thinking about that. And then late last night, after I watched the game for a second time, I watched the game when it happened. Then I went to my parents' house with my wife where we met up with our 3 kids who were all done with their stuff. And we had a day early birthday celebration for my dad. Happy birthday, Gary, my dad. Birthday today. Yesterday was like fake birthday because you can't just have everybody over for dinner on a Monday because between 6 grandkids, they've all got stuff going on. The adults could probably pull it off, but the grandkids, no way. So happy birthday to my dad. We went over there, and then when we got back from there, I was tired, and I was my thing lately, I try to watch a movie every day now. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really not. If you just don't watch TV shows, you can watch a movie. It's like watching 4 little shows, or 3 little shows. And I intended to do that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch the Bills game again. And I've got the NFL Plus thing on the NFL app, which allows for the condensed version of the game. Watch any NFL game in like 28 minutes, 26 minutes, something like that. So I watched the Bills game back again. And then when that was done, I watched some post-game stuff, and I saw Josh Allen. Like, what are you doing? You're down 21-0. How do you just bounce back there? He's like, score, stop, score. What, like, it's so obvious to the greats like Scott Wilson and Josh, and seems to be lost on the average Bills fan. So I'm trying to get you up to speed so you understand that it doesn't feel crazy if you just frame it in that way. It doesn't feel crazy to be down 21 and win a game at all. Like, those drives didn't go great. All right, well, there's still way more than half the game left. We can cut into it now. We'll have halftime. The only problem I have is the garbage field goal that was basically gifted to the Patriots, who, can we say officially that Gillette Stadium is our enemy? That the staff, like the NFL, should look into everything that was going on at Gillette Stadium yesterday and combine it with everything that has gone on over the last 25 years at Gillette Stadium. Whether it's, the heat's not on in the locker room or the hot water's not on in the locker room, or the scoreboard, there's a screen that the coach can see so he can see stuff that others can't, and helmets are cutting out and all that. The clock didn't run when it was supposed to run, and there's no chance on earth the Patriots should have safely kicked a field goal to end the first half yesterday. But they were gifted that by clock operators, by the runner, Drake May, scrambles. Max Harrison hits him out of bounds, gets up, spinning his arm as if to say, the clock is still moving. The clock stops. So then they get all set up. Then the officials are like, hey, the clock shouldn't have stopped there. We're going to run off 10 seconds. But we don't know that 10 seconds is the right number. We just know that that's the rule for when a mistake is made. But a mistake was intentionally made in that moment. Intentionally is probably wrong. I shouldn't say intentionally. But something happened at the stadium that led to that, I guess, incorrect. The officials maybe got that one incorrect. But then they do the 10-second thing. Then they're like, all right, so we get now we're at 6 seconds. And the Patriots are trying to run one more play to make it closer for the field goal. And it's was it a draw? Yeah, it was a draw to Henderson. And Henderson gets through the line, and he slides to end the play so they can call timeout so they can kick the field goal. And at that point, we're like, oh, wait, they never ran the clock at all. And then they decide, I don't know, 2 seconds? Sure, 2 seconds. And they let him call a timeout, and they get to kick a field goal. That was absolute garbage. Without that 3, the second half would have felt way more comfortable because the Patriots wouldn't have had a little bit of extra juice / spark / momentum going into halftime. Instead, they would have said, ooh, our 21-point lead is only 14 now. And the Bills are getting the ball, and that could be 7 right now because that's a score and a stop and a score. But they messed up the formula by whatever crooked crap was going on at Gillette Stadium. Bills still prevailed. They're the better team. Don't bet against Josh Allen because you got a rookie. Let's not do that. Let's talk about J.J. Watt for a second. J.J. Watt, the color analyst on the game. Ian Eagle did fine. J.J. Watt turned Drake May. Remember the Teddy Bruschi game? Remember Teddy Bruschi came back from a stroke? I'm sure it wasn't a full-on. I'm aware of people who have had strokes. They don't play football afterward. But like some sort of mini stroke, TIF, maybe. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't. It's like when they say somebody played with a broken leg. You can't play with a broken leg. You can play with a fracture in your bone. It's not the same thing. So we imply that this guy is unbelievable because he played through a broken leg. Who was just doing it and then hurt his knee? Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, like, oh my God, he's playing with a broken leg. Like, no. Broken legs have casts. Broken legs, you can't play in the NFL with a broken leg. You can play with a thing that we can call a broken leg. It's a fracture. There's a break in the leg. But that's not a broken leg. Broken leg is when you fall off the slide when you're 8. And then you have a cast up to your hip. That's a broken leg. He had a fracture in a bone in his leg. Yeah, okay, fine. We can call it a broken leg, but it's not a broken leg. And there's no way Teddy Bruschi had a stroke in the way that people have strokes. He had a thing that we call a stroke. But if you bounce back and start playing in the NFL, it wasn't a stroke. Yesterday, J.J. Watt treated Drake May like Teddy Bruschi was treated when he came back from his stroke. Oh, my God, this guy is unbelievable. It was crazy. It was crazy. He's a good quarterback. He's a good player. He's a guy the Bills are going to have to deal with for years to come. But he's also a second-year guy who is not Josh Allen. He is not. No one is. So that doesn't mean the Bills automatically win games. It just means calm down when raving about the superior performance of someone who's going against the guy who's the best football player I've ever seen play. Just knock it off. I've never seen anything like this guy. I don't have a comparison. And that includes, what Hall of Fame quarterback would you use when trying to describe Josh Allen to a person who's never seen Josh Allen play? Good luck coming up with one. I mean, I think I start at Elway. But then I've got a lot of, but he does this better, and he does this better, he does this better. And he's charming. They're just perfect. Just a perfect player. My God. So, good game, Josh Allen. And better luck next time, Drake May and the Patriots. But J.J. Watt, knock it off. Complaints about the game. We need to solve the replay issue. We need that to be consistent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. We need something that ties it all together. We can't have this virtual assist thing happening on... We didn't have that yesterday for measurements. What's the phrase I'm looking for? After automatic review, whatever it is. Replay and a decision to look to see if something is correct should absolutely not fall to the head coach. And I've thought this for a while. I didn't think it was realistic to even propose it to fix it because the NFL was so into the challenge system. The challenge system sucks. The person in America least prepared to say, I don't think that call is correct, is the head coach of an NFL team. He's the only one not watching on television. We're watching. We see. The league is watching. It sees. They now have a person or people dedicated to watching so that they can go, yeah, hold up. They got that wrong. Let's fix it. And that applies sometimes, but not all the time. So we wind up in a situation where on the first drive of the game, the Patriots complete a 30-ish yard pass. Except it's not complete, and anyone watching on TV can see it. And the Patriots hurry to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball before anyone says, wait a minute, he didn't catch the ball. And then J.J. Watt praises them, says, great job getting up to the line of scrimmage and snapping the ball. That shouldn't be a part of it. We have HD TV. We have a million cameras. I know we shut some of them off at Gillette Stadium because it helps the Patriots, but that's not the point. People watching on TV, people watching the game through cameras and screens see it better than Sean McDermott on the sideline. I don't lay it on McDermott to, he should have challenged there. I mean, yes, the Bills should have a system in place so that a person watching on TV immediately can tell Sean McDermott, challenge now. They should have that, but they shouldn't need that. Why does he have to be involved? He's just calling the game. He's just dealing with his players. He's dealing with his coaching staff. He doesn't have the camera and the television. We do. So we, collectively, And specifically, the league and the officials have the ability to go, hang on a second. I got to look at that again. It doesn't have to take 10 minutes. It can be, hold up. The overall point, and there are plenty of flaws in the replay system, but the main one that needs to be fixed is we should not reward you for hurrying up to beat the system. As someone somewhere is going, should we stop this? Should we stop? Well, they snapped the ball. I guess we can't anymore. No more of that. We don't congratulate a team, J.J. Watt, for hurrying up and snapping the ball because they know that under scrutiny the play may not hold up. Don't get me wrong. As the current system is set up, as I'm watching the Bills, I want them to snap the ball quickly. When 18, whose name I keep forgetting, who I keep wanting to call Elijah Moore, Brandon Cooks. When Brandon Cooks on the following drive has a ball near the sideline, juggle, catch. They call it a catch. The official comes in, says catch. I am guilty as a fan watching it, saying, snap the ball, get up there, snap the ball, get up there. But only because they got to do it. Like we don't need to do that. We should not do that. That should not be a part of the game. Should not be a part of the sport. Hurrying up to beat the elaborate replay system that we have, the technology that has been designed to get the calls right. You shouldn't be able to beat it by running. So, Booty didn't catch the ball on the sideline, but it counted. Cooks didn't catch the ball on the sideline, and it didn't count. And that one was replay assist or review assist or whatever they call that thing. It wasn't a challenge. Or maybe it was, because the way they described it afterward, they said something about good job to, what's his name? Doesn't have a mustache anymore. Coaches the Patriots. Vrabel. Good job to him by getting that flag out there. He threw it down real quick. Why do we need that? Why is that a part of the thing? Why is the guy on the sideline who can't see the play in remotely the same way that everyone else watching the game can see the play? Why is he in charge of throwing a thing to say, hey, people who can see the thing, look at the thing? That shouldn't be a thing. None of that is a thing. We have to eliminate that. I don't know that they ever will, but they really should. Replay should not be on the head coach in any way, shape, or form. And the Patriots get a non-catch to go for them. And I think people are probably critical of McDermott for not challenging. Bills have one go the other way. It gets overturned. And maybe Vrabel was involved, but the language spoken by the referee in the game was such that he was not involved. But then J.J. Watt said he was, but it's not the point. None of that should happen. All right, that was my critique of that game. Gillette, Vrabel, Patriot Way. The Patriot Way. The Patriot Way is making sure that the replays are not available to the Bills quickly. That continues. Replays, the clock not running. It was gross. All this stuff was gross. It felt like, all right, no knock on anyone who's listening from the Southern Tier, but anyone who ever played a high school sport and then had to go to Jamestown, anyone who has played or watched, witnessed college sports, and you got to go to Bonaventure, you're like, crap. We're already down. You don't even walk into the building yet. You're already losing. There's just this thing. Oh, it's home court advantage at the Riley Center. Yeah, they're cheating. They're cheating all the time. It's home field advantage for the Jamestown football team. Yeah, right. Yeah, the refs are in on it. 100%. 100%. This is true. If you played there, you know. If you've watched games at the Riley Center, you know. You're down already. We can't let Gillette Stadium be that. The games are on television. National television. It can't be that way. You can't run Gillette Stadium like you run the Jamestown High School football field or like you run the Riley Center. Yeah, I said it, Bonaventure. Cheating bastards. That's the way it's been. It's the way it's always been. Well, you're going to go in there, you're going to deal with some stuff. Gillette can't be that. It's the NFL. What are we doing? All right. What else? Patrick Mahomes is out. He tore his ACL yesterday, and the Chiefs were eliminated from playoff contention. And I think collectively, as a nation, we've been robbed. We've been robbed of joy. We don't root for injuries on Riter Radio. But we do know that a lot of people get hurt. And sometimes we think, well, if somebody's got to get hurt, I hope it's that guy. Right? Like, in a perfect world, no one would ever get hurt again. But in reality, people get hurt all the time. And why did it take until now for Patrick Mahomes to tear his ACL? And why does it happen in the same game where they're just eliminated and now it doesn't even matter? I didn't need Patrick Mahomes to tear his ACL yesterday. I need that next September or last September or the previous September or mid-October at some point in the last 10 years. We don't root for injury and we don't celebrate injury. Very sad for Mahomes' season to be over. And I am happy the Chiefs' season is over. I'm sad that Mahomes is done. But I'm mostly sad that Mahomes is done when it doesn't matter for the Chiefs. Like, we needed that. We always need that. If that happened in a real year for the Chiefs, we'd be all set. But you know what? Injuries happen when your team is subpar, too. Obviously, part of it is just luck. But part of it is when you're fighting against it. You're getting beat up because your team is inferior to others. It's not shocking that this would be the year. It's unfortunate that the two things. I'd like to talk happily about both of them. And they just kind of run together now. It's like, season's over and Mahomes is out. Like, no, I needed that in like week 3. And I guess I didn't need it this year because they were bad enough that they've been eliminated. But, yeah, there's that. And then 2 massive ones. Well, I mean, I guess that one's not massive because the Chiefs are out. But Micah Parsons getting hurt last night, and I have not looked yet this morning. It was a non-contact knee thing as he was rushing the passer. I mean, that looked like an ACL tear. I don't speak doctor, so I'm not positive, but that's what it looked like. And I haven't looked this morning to see if there's an update on him, but I think I should do that. Micah Parsons. Injury. Fears ACL tear. Non-contact knee injury. Packers Super Bowl hopes doomed after Micah Parsons' injury. How 2 seismic injuries impacted the NFL in Week 15. It's got to be Parsons and Mahomes, right? Yeah, okay. This is Bill Barnwell at ESPN. Even in a sport in which the risk of serious injury on any given play is a part of the business, Sunday delivered a pair of franchise-altering, league-shifting knee injuries. Mahomes tore his ACL, bringing an end to the most frustrating season of the 2-time MVP quarterback's career. Hours later, in the middle of a wildly entertaining game with the Broncos, Packers edge rusher Micah Parsons is believed to have suffered the same injury while attempting to chase down Bo Nix. In addition to overshadowing perhaps the finest game of Nix's young pro career, the Parsons injury casts a pall on Green Bay's chances of competing for a Super Bowl this season, months after it traded 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark to acquire Parsons from the Cowboys. All right, so no actual update on the Parsons thing, but I think he's done. And going into that game, so we're at my parents' house yesterday for for my dad's birthday. And I'm instructing everyone who's watching the game, we want badly for the Packers to win this game, because if the Packers win this game, the Bills are 1 game out of the 1 seed. And they're still going to need some help. They're going to need Denver to fall again. They're going to need the Patriots to fall again. They're going to need to win their games. But the 1 seed's not out of the question at all heading into that game, the Denver-Green Bay game. And Green Bay was in there. They were fighting. It was a good game. It was fun. And then Parsons went down. I went, uh-oh. And that was kind of that. And Denver wins. And there's still a shot. They haven't locked it up. They haven't, prevented the Patriots from getting it. They haven't prevented the Bills from getting it. The Chargers, I think, are still in the height. That was fight and hunt, and it came out height. They're still in the hunt for it, I think. Jacksonville, honestly, is still there. They've got the same record as the Bills. But it's Denver's to lose at this point. Had they lost yesterday, it would have been a big sloppy mess of teams fighting for that thing with the Bills right in it. And they didn't. But Parsons going down, I was like, well, never mind. I still want the division, though, for the Bills. I still want the division. I still want the 2 seed. No matter what it means. No matter who. I'm not going to jockey for position based on opponents. There are certainly some that scare me more than others. I mean, I think as far as like a desirable spot, if you don't win a division, 5's going to be cool. 5's going to be real cool. 5's going to be go to Pittsburgh or go to Baltimore. That's fine with me. It's Pittsburgh right now. I'm not jockeying. I just want the higher seed. I want home games. I want my friends to go to. I'm not going to go to a playoff game. I want my friends to be able to go. I want Western New York weather to be a part of it. All that stuff. I want it here. I want Highmark Stadium to close out with the AFC Championship game. I want it all, man. I want it all. But I also recognize just getting in is enough. The 7 seed is fine. But I don't think that's where they're going to land. I think they're making a real push here to win the division, and winning the division is likely going to get you the 2 seed in the AFC. And, in my world, it's not the Patriots, although they have a reasonable chance of being the 1 seed. It's not them. It's Denver's going to be the 1. And then I think the Bills and Patriots are going to be 2 and 5. But I would prefer 2, even though the matchup at 5 sounds delicious. That sounds great. All right, what else do we have here? Chiefs, Mahomes, person. Oh, shout out to Ray Davis. I think in all of the crazy stuff that happened in the game, Ray Davis might get a little bit forgotten, but that's 2 weeks in a row where the Bills mounted a comeback, and it had a lot to do with Ray Davis in the return game. And when they cut Brandon Codrington a couple weeks ago, after he was the return man for most of the season, and they cut him, I thought, ooh, I don't know, man. I like what he's done. He doesn't contribute much elsewhere, but he's been really solid in the return game. I think Ray Davis has done us a real solid by picking up where Codrington left off and setting up the Bills to score on short fields consistently. Just a massive contributor in special teams the last couple of weeks. Ray Davis is like an unsung hero. I just wanted to throw that out there. So there's the Davis/Codrington point. And then another one yesterday, as we're driving around. We were doing something yesterday. I don't know, but like hustling home in time for the game. And I'm looking, or basically asking my wife, hey, find the roster for today. It's got the active players, the inactive players. Like, what's going on? Is Benford going to play? Is Joey Bosa going to play? Glad he did. Benford did not, but it worked out. And we're looking for that. And reading the list of inactives, and Gabe Davis was on the inactive list. It's like, oh, no. What happened there? After the fact, I think it's just that Joshua Palmer was healthy and was able to play, and he contributed. Nothing like crazy, but he's been a part of this team's plans since camp. And he was a part of it yesterday. He made a couple big plays. Nothing massive. He's, He's not in the top 10 players you're going to think about coming out of yesterday's game. But having him back and healthy and contributing was nice. So I love Gabe Davis more than the average person does. I was so excited to see him come back just on the practice squad, and so excited to see him elevated, and so excited to see the way he contributes to the team, and happy to have him here. But their plan wasn't Gabe Davis. Their plan was Joshua Palmer. So I think that's all it is. So I've got Davis/Codrington written down that I want to talk about, and then I've got Davis/Palmer. So I got through that. I'm actually using this stuff on my list today. I'm proud of myself. Scott Wilson is going to join the show. That's what he does on Mondays and Fridays. We'll get his thoughts on the Bills and other things as we continue in just a couple of minutes with Riter Radio. It's episode 226. It is a Monday. We have switched our music for the next 10 days to Christmas songs, but I'm not doing this. There might be a couple standard ones in there that I like, but I made a list of, I don't know, it's 100-something Christmas songs that we're just putting on shuffle during the breaks for the next 10 days or whatever it is. I mean, I know it's 10 days till Christmas. I'm not going to do a show on Christmas Eve. I'm not going to do a show on Christmas. So for the next 8 days, I guess, on the 8th day of Christmas, I'm giving you Christmas songs. That's what we're doing. We'll be back in a few minutes. Scott Wilson will join me for a good chunk of the second hour of Riter Radio. Songs. Then we'll be back. I'm Brad. Thanks for listening, watching, checking it out, calling. Not calling. Whatever you're doing. Following, subscribing, liking, sharing. Hit that bell for notifications. Oh, that's a thing. Real quick. If you subscribe on YouTube, that's one thing. But if you subscribe on YouTube and also hit the bell, there's a little bell thing. It's for notifications. It'll send you a little reminder every time we start a show, which is awesome. Or every time I post something, it shows up. It's, my dad did it. And he's 77 today. But he's just like, your show keeps sending me messages. What? And he showed me, and it's just, there's a notification. When the show goes live, I hit start on a broadcast. He gets a ding on his phone. It's like, hey, show's starting. Let's go. It's not intrusive. It's just a message, like a text type of thing. But it reminds you the show's happening. So I would really appreciate if you, when you subscribe, also did that. Click that little bell thing to get the notification, because that will that'll keep you. You'll be locked in for life on Riter Radio until you decide to unsubscribe, and that's fine too. But the best way to do it, I'm finding, because it's hitting my dad's phone, so that means it will hit yours as well. If you hit that notification button, it will just tell you whenever the show starts. All right. Timeout. Music. Be right back.
Let's check in with Riter Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
Scott Wilson's here. I have what is to me breaking news, but to Scott is broken news, and it's gross, terrible news. Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered, and it seems like the son did it. All I have is headlines right now. Scott Wilson's up to speed, though. He tells me.
Well,
Scott, Scott. Let's go live to our reporter, Scott Wilson, who's on the scene in presumably Los Angeles, where all of this has gone down. Scott, what can you tell us live from the scene?
Does this make me your senior Rob Reiner correspondent?
No, you're murder
darker, or is this just straight murder?
True crime. True crime is big in podcasts. So this is our true crime. This is a true thing. Rob Reiner. Okay, yeah. Holy crap, man. Like, I don't know how you feel about most Hollywood people. Isn't Rob Reiner just like an uncle that we have all had forever? And, like, I'm just so comfortable around him. Maybe it goes back to him being the Spinal Tap guy, like, kind of hosting it and introducing the band to me. But I feel like I know him. I don't know him at all. But holy crap. I have a very positive, for no reason, very positive opinion of him as a human being. And he has been murdered.
Yeah, that's I learned about it this morning on my way out the door as my mother-in-law came over to help us get our youngest on the bus because we both had to leave earlier for work today. So she had on Good Morning America, and it was a
Bad morning.
Bad Morning America for a little bit there, and saw it. Yeah, it's that's a tough one because Rob Reiner, if you think about it, let me say this. I think the reason why you have such a positive opinion of him is anytime you've ever seen him interviewed about like anything, he's very honest, very straightforward, and seems very likable and very comfortable in his own skin and very
Very
friendly.
everyman. Very everyman.
Yes. And I think it's interesting here. Well, it's not interesting. I think it's sad that his son, who all appearances, it appears to be
Well, he's been arrested.
the main focus of what's going on. And I did read an article earlier today where the cops were looking in that direction because once his sister found out, it was like, you need to talk to my brother immediately because he's insane and he's dangerous. And it makes me sad because I've heard Rob Reiner talk a lot about his son and how he struggled, and there was a long history of drugs and drug use, and he really had to struggle with it, and how Rob was very sympathetic and was very understanding because he has the unique experience of knowing what it's like to be the son of, because Rob Reiner was the son of
Carl, yeah, right.
of Carl. So he understood that experience that his son was going through because he was famous, and the struggles with anything that kid would accomplish is it's just because you're a nepo baby and because you're rich and you had everything handed to you. So there's a lot of mental anguish that I think went along with his son and with that experience that he had. But I never thought or never got the impression from Rob talking about it that there was ever any
Danger,
necessarily negative feeling towards Rob about it. It was just kind of a thing that happened that's unfair. And, there's even a clip right now on social media where the two of them are at a table talking about it. And Rob was like, let's not pretend that in the 60s when I was going through a similar time period that my son was, that there wasn't drugs there. There was a lot. They're just different drugs that I was involved with. So
sure.
It's just a sad thing to see, because if you look at Rob Reiner's work, it's possible that you could say he has the definitive blank movie of several genres. Like, is there a better courtroom movie that's ever been made than You Can't Handle the Truth?
No.
Like, that's got to be up there,
right?
What about mockumentary? He's got to be number one. I mean, he basically invented the genre.
Yep.
You look at even something like When Harry Met Sally. Is that not like the romantic rom-com?
Yes. All of these are correct.
And then he was involved in Sleepless in Seattle. And like, I don't know if he was behind that one or just in it, but there are several types of movies that if you look, he might have been.
Yeah, he's got his hands in everything. He's got his hands in everything. He might be a writer. He might be a director. He might be the producer. He might be just an actor in it, but you know that he had some influence. All of it. All of the stuff. All the stuff I like, he's involved. He's
been very underrated because
you don't think about him. You just don't think about him because he's understated.
Because he's understated and he's been so likable. He hasn't had the aura.
The sitcom.
Say what you want
greatest
about Tarantino.
Sitcom. What's the greatest sitcom?
Not liked.
No, he's hated. What's the greatest sitcom?
I mean,
we'll go back
so
to
that
Tarantino.
carries aura with him.
Yeah.
that Rob Reiner didn't have, and
back to All in the Family, which is probably the greatest sitcom that's ever existed. He's
Right.
a massive
Right.
chunk of that too. Wow, this
So,
sucks.
yeah. When you really start breaking down all the movies that he's been involved in and how special and beloved they are, not just in general, but in their specific genres, it's a staggering career that he's had that unfortunately is probably only going to start getting recognized and getting the credit that he deserves now that he's been killed. And hopefully that's strong enough to ignore the manner in which he was killed, which is gruesome and grisly, and the story behind it will eventually fade away so that he can be honored the right way, because he's been involved in any movie in the last 40 years that you've loved.
Yeah, he's there.
Like, he's basically AMC.
Yeah.
There's like a 75% chance that at any time that you turn on AMC at any point, you're watching a Rob Reiner movie.
Yeah.
And you love it and you're going to watch it. It's like there's a reason why his movies are always on TV.
Well,
Because when you turn it on, you can't turn it off.
Well, there's a heart to everything he's ever done. Like, I'm just thinking about, and I couldn't think of what movie it was, but I know that in one of the movies that I love, that I watch pretty regularly, he's the dad, and you forget about it, and then he shows up, and I just looked, and it's Wolf of Wall Street. He's Max
Right.
Belfort, and he just, that role is just so cool. It's, it's always. It's a Judd Hirsch. It's Paul Reiser in, I don't remember which one. Another one of these movies where they just refer back to not Rounders, whatever. One of these movies where the kid is 24 years old and he's doing something a little bit crazy, and then he meets his dad at a diner. Like, that scene is awesome in every movie, and Rob Reiner is that in Wolf of Wall Street. It's the same. I don't know. I didn't intend to talk about this. I found out about it a minute before we went on the air. So
How about what's the definitive movie for coming of age?
Stand by Me. Yeah.
That's Rob Reiner.
Right. You are onto something. Did somebody tip you off to this, or is this something you came up with on your own? Because God.
I thought about was it A Few Good Men?
Yeah.
Right. I thought about that, and then I thought about Spinal Tap, and it's like those are probably the two best movies of those genres. And then when you just start thinking of everything else, it's like, oh my God,
yeah,
he did everything else too. I did see there was something else on social media about it too, where was Stand By Me a King movie?
I don't know what that means.
Stephen King.
Yes, I think so.
I think it was,
I
right?
Think yes, yeah.
And there was a post that recalled a quote that Stephen King said, "It's the only time after watching one of his movies he's left and cried because it was perfect. It was exactly what it should have been." So it really sucks. It really sucks when you lose a guy like that has done all that, and the number of films, like you said, the heart in a lot of his films really stands out, and it sucks to lose a guy that can make movies like that, because there's not a lot of movies like that are being made anymore that have that type of heart and that type of feeling.
Yeah.
And it's partially because all of the investment places are now into movies
with superheroes.
And everything is consolidating, so all of the choices that all these movie places are making now is in IP, intellectual properties, which means they want to appeal to the broadest, They
want an audience before anybody even knows what's coming out. They want already to have people locked in, and so that's kind of what happens. You can't get anything new because new starts from zero. So you got to start with Superman, or you got to start with the Avengers.
So now,
or you got to start
now, instead of movies like I don't know if in today you could get Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle. I don't know if you could get those movies made.
No, they'll be on those are Hallmark movies now.
They're making Jenga, the movie.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Do you think that is why Hallmark exists? Because they stopped. Because it's essentially Hallmark is they're trying to make When Harry Met Sally 100 times a year.
Right.
And there's not a market for that in theaters. So they were just like, you know what? I like that vibe. And maybe that's what we pick up because we laugh at Hallmark movies, but we also kind of like
Well, we laugh
Hallmark
because
movies.
they're poorly done.
Right, but we also kind of like them because they're poorly done, but it's because they're the only ones trying to do it. But I think they're trying to make When Harry Met Sally over and over and over again, and they suck at it. But they're doing it, and there's still some appeal to it. Getting very existential right now, but I think that Hallmark exists because of what Hollywood has become, to a certain extent.
Well, that's the magic I think you see in the brilliance of some of these guys like Steven Spielberg, Rob Reiner, these guys, because without their touch, without Rob Reiner's touch, When Harry Met Sally becomes annoying guy and hot chick on Hallmark. And it leaves you saying, come on, Meg Ryan's not going to be with that guy. Meg Ryan's not going to be with that annoying guy. One, he's not good looking enough. Two, he's annoying. And the talent is taking that and still making it lovable and appealable so that you do buy it. Because we laugh and we don't buy it on Hallmark, but there's 100% buy-in when you see that movie, When Harry Met Sally.
Sure.
And you're like, yeah, no, this is it. That's the magic that he brought. And I don't have the full list of his movies, but I mean, it's like every one that you've ever seen that you enjoyed. And
yeah, well, I don't know how
times that he appeared in stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know how to look him up because do I look up the actor version or the director or the producer or the writer or I don't. There's no way to do it. But I mean, I'm just looking. He was in The Bear, current, very trendy, very popular TV show that I don't love, but he's in that. They just did a sequel to Spinal Tap, which I haven't seen yet. Scrolling backward, New Girl. He's involved in New Girl. That's cool, trendy, fun. Sandy Wexler, I've never seen, but it's a Sandler movie. He's involved in that. About a boy, The Wolf of Wall Street. There's a When Harry Met Sally 2? No, that can't be real. I'll just pretend that he was involved in 30 Rock. Hannah Montana, Spinal Tap, Simpsons. My God. I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm. All the stuff. Princess Bride. Primary Colors. Frasier. First Wives Club. All the stuff. Larry Sanders Show. The best. Best show ever on TV. Larry Sanders Show. Sleepless in Seattle. Spinal Tap. Postcards from the Edge. I don't know how to look this up. All in the Family. Everything. The Odd Couple. He was on The Odd Couple. Partridge Family. Beverly Hillbillies. Gomer Pyle USMC. Batman. The original, he's a delivery boy on Batman in 1967. These are him as an actor. Him as a writer. 55 things listed. Do I do that? Do I open that list? Sure. I'm going to start at the bottom and work up, though. Steve Allen Comedy Hour, The Joey Bishop Show, Smothers Brothers, Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour, everything. All in the Family. Happy Days, of course.
And not to hold on, I'm going to stop you there because he had a pretty decent sized important role in that Smothers Brothers, and that show and the writers on that show basically spawned an entire generation of comics from an entirely new type of version of comedy that became on TV. It became a lot, that show stared down CBS.
Yeah.
And that was a groundbreaking show, important show in the history of comedy. And he was in that. I had totally forgotten about that.
The American President.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'm just scrolling. No, it's good. I didn't have to just read everything because I'm just scrolling through. But when I say Heart, the movie The American President, that's him. Of course it is. I didn't know that, but of course it is. I'm looking at producer credits now. Princess Bride, Misery, Few Good Men. We already
Princess
mentioned.
Bride.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a cult classic.
right.
That's
I
like
hate it.
a
I hate it,
fantasy
but yeah.
comedy,
Yeah.
a fantasy comedy type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that's it. That is it for that genre.
It's its own thing. Yeah, I don't like that
Yeah.
movie, but I get it. I get how many people do. Um, yeah, all right. You want to talk about football? R.I.P. Rob Reiner. This is our in memoriam segment. It's brought to you by Satan. I don't know. It's not sponsored yet, but I do like to honor the dead. I don't like when it comes up halfway through the show that Rob Reiner died, and was murdered, presumably by his son, and like grossly murdered, along with his wife too. I don't know who she is, but it sucks too. You want to talk about football? Should I play a song or something? No, we're fine, right? We can move on.
No, what are you gonna play? Taps?
No, I don't have tap. I don't know. I would play a Christmas song or something.
No,
No, we'll skip it. All right, let's do football.
Yeah, we can go into football.
All right.
You know who's not dead? The Bills.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Mahomes. He's almost. So, all right. Here's what I take away from yesterday. I feel like you and I and Josh Allen are the only three people in my circle. Not that Josh is in my. You know what I mean? That view football the same way, which is like, I don't know. I've watched a lot of it. Teams get leads, they blow leads, and 21 points is score, stop, score away from a 7-point game. And I feel like we know that and approach it that way at all times. And, maybe we should sell the rights to read our text messages during games to keep people friggin' sane. But you can go down and things can not be going your way. But when you've got a player the caliber of Allen, and I don't know that there's ever been another player the caliber of him, 21 points it's not crazy to bounce back from. You just need to play some defense and let him do his thing. And I find myself less shocked than other fans when the Bills do what they did yesterday, or when they do what they did against the Ravens in week 1. Or even what they did, was it last week? Was it Pittsburgh? Whatever. It wasn't Pittsburgh.
The
Pittsburgh.
Bengals last week.
It was the Bengals last week. That's what it was. Same type of thing, where it's like, oh, no, they're down. It's like, well, I don't know. There's a bunch of football left. Let's see what happens. I've been on the wrong side of it enough times to know that a lead is not safe. And now you've got Allen on your team, and the other team's lead is not safe. So it was not shocking to me. It was great to see. I mean, it was awesome. It was a very, very cool borderline game of the year in the NFL. It was very, very good, but not shocking. And I think people need to recognize score, stop, score is the way to solve a bunch of problems. It's not that difficult when you just have to do those three things in a row.
Well, and you have to take into a fact that that you've got Josh Allen.
Right.
I think that's the ultimate thing to go along with what you're saying there. Because if you're running out there Shadur Sanders,
Yeah, right.
You're probably not having the same, like, theoretically you're right, but you're not going to be.
Right, but as it applies to just Maction,
in a
and
theory,
it applies to a team with Josh Allen on it.
Right, and I in theory agree with you wholeheartedly. We talk about it all the time, and I've said it a couple of times before when we've been talking football. I don't really feel in trouble until it becomes that 4-score game. Once it becomes 4-score, then you're in deep trouble. You're in trouble down 3 scores. Make no mistake about it. But once you get to that 4th score, then you're talking about doing score, stop, score twice.
Right.
And that becomes really hard. But when you factor in, the equation is, can you stop them once? Can you stop the other team once? And when you start thinking, all right, I'm down 3 scores, but really it's still the first half. Even if you're in the third quarter, can I get one stop? And if the answer to that is yes, then you're still fine, because you can go score, stop, score. And you can do that at any point. I think for a long time, it's only been approached as, well, if you get the last score before halftime and then you get the ball coming out of halftime, that's the only
Right, that middle
that's how
eight
you
thing
do it.
people talk
But
about.
it's really you can create your own middle eight at any point in the game. You just need a spot or a stop. So, can you get a stop? And they finally got a stop in the second half, and it's like, okay, you're in danger.
Yeah.
You're in big danger because the Bills started to figure things out. They started to feel comfortable. Josh started to feel a little bit more comfortable and started throwing down the field more, finding those tight ends, especially over the middle of the field, and just looked a lot more comfortable. And then once he got comfortable, it was on. I mean, he looked. He never looked. Josh never looked like he was like, oh no, this isn't going our way.
Except when he was
He's
throwing up.
He's throwing up, but I mean, he was fine.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you. I'm with you. They fell down by 21, and my immediate reaction is, well, you need one stop. You need a stop, and this is a game. Because they're not going to shut the Bills out. They're not going to stop them from
Right.
scoring. The Patriots defense is good and it's improved and they play hard.
It's a good team.
But it's a good team, but they are not going to shut them out. So what you're looking at now is this becomes a game if I can get a stop. And they finally did. And then they got another one. And then they got another one.
Right.
And then they gave up a long touchdown and then they got another one. So, I think the biggest thing for the Bills is, can we move what happens at halftime up to earlier, please? Because the defense is significantly better in the second half. And the offense, I think the offense is obviously better, but not to the extreme difference that I see from the defense. So, I think that there has to be some way to
start earlier.
Without
set
being
your
in the
alarm
building
for a different time. Yeah.
Yeah, without being in the building, I'm not sure what exactly their approach is, which it may be, let's show them a lot of base stuff early on. Let's see what they're doing, and then we can adjust. And, maybe that's kind of the way it is, rather than saying we're going to come in with all these ideas, and then if it doesn't work, then we're kind of just back to base, and they're already prepared for that. So, like, I don't know what the approach is, but it's certainly something that they need to look at, because if you're going to face in the playoffs good teams, you're not going to be able to do that every time. And so far this year, the Bills have been able to do that like every time. So it's something that needs to be thought about. But yeah, it was 21-0, and the reaction of everybody reminded me very much of another team based in Massachusetts. And it was the Flagship Cup when
yes,
UMass got an interception with 59 seconds to go and celebrated like the game was over.
Yeah.
And up in the booth, we're like, all right, cool. That doesn't matter at all. We're about to get the ball back and win. So
get a stop.
Yeah, we're this is going to be fine. You guys are not going to move the ball when you want to, and we're going to get the ball back, and it's going to be great. And same thing happened. There was an awful lot of this thing is over. I don't know if you've heard the radio calls of that 21-0 touchdown.
No, the Patriots radio calls?
Yes.
Oh, is that something I should seek out?
Oh, you should seek that out, because it's what are you thinking about now, Bills fans? Your window is closed.
Really?
This division is over. The Patriots are back. And oof.
Really?
I didn't see anything posted in the second half. I didn't see any posts from the second half highlights of how exactly they took it, but it's not over, actually. Funny enough.
Hey, Scott, you want to do something really fun on the fly?
Okay.
I just found Patriots post game show immediate reaction from yesterday. I think I'm just going to play it, and we'll pause it and talk about it.
Sure.
What do you think of that? All right, there's a commercial first, of course, but once I get it ready, I am very curious about this now. Patriots post game. All right, we're not going to put the video up. We're just going to.
This 3 straight times was great.
Post game show presented by DraftKings. Paul Perillo's with me. Mike Dussel, thanks for joining us. I'm Kwani Lunis, and as you just saw, Patriots lose this one 35-31. The Buffalo Bills stay in it till the end. It was a good game, and I think that's the consolation that we'll start with, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great start by the Patriots. I mean, I thought they came out and played, maybe their best half of the year.
Absolutely.
Certainly coming out, forcing the Bills and Josh Allen to punt 3 straight times was great. You got a couple explosive plays from Travion Henderson. Thought they had a plan in the red zone.
This
I mean,
is
a lot of
boring.
stuff we talked about.
These guys aren't mad.
Individual effort by
Yeah.
Travion Henderson.
Skip ahead. Hold on.
Yep.
I knew the
So playmaking. It's for
Baltimore loses that game.
Never mind. That failed. You try
What
something.
you need is the
radio calls.
The
Yeah.
radio call of 21-0 where the color guy, and I'm not sure who it is making very strong declarative statements that the Bills are done
Okay.
forever.
All right. I'm gonna search for that kind of
You
like
search for
in
that,
the
and
background.
I'll just say,
I'm gonna talk about the replay system.
Yeah,
I want
that
you on to
sucks.
talk about all of it. Part of me wanted to call the NFL or text the NFL or something and say, can I have somebody on to explain what replay assist is and how it works? And do we need to throw challenge flags or do we not need to? Because the first drive of the game, this game is entirely different if they don't complete a 30-ish yard pass on the first drive of the game, on like the fifth play of the game. That was not a catch. And replay would have prevented it from being a catch. And I don't think we should live in a world where we have this elaborate system of cameras and computers and, things that can swing around and 3D visuals, and it all can be defeated by running up to the line to snap the ball. I don't think we're doing it right if that's a possibility for a team. To the point where J.J. Watt, who, by the way, as an announcer, sucks. But he credits the team. Great job getting up to the line of scrimmage there. Like, to steal the play. They stole the play. So had that call been overturned, it's a different game. Had the one at the other end, which also was not a catch, but was called a catch on the field, the guy, Brandon Cooks, I keep wanting to call him Elijah Moore because he's wearing his jersey. But the Brandon Cooks catch on the sideline, bobble, and it's the right call. He didn't have 2 feet in as he was juggling the ball, but they called it a catch on the field, and then from above, it was like, no catch immediately because you can see it because you've got television. So are we using or are we not using people upstairs looking at the we need something documented here, some sort of rules, some sort of protocol for, do I need to throw a flag? Does throwing the flag help? Does it not help? Am I going to lose a timeout? I think it was adjudicated differently on the exact same thing. It was a pass down the right sideline, deep ball that was going to set him up for a short touchdown. One of them got there was no
One of them was
system
right. One of them was wrong.
Well, there was no system in place to deal with the one, but the system worked on the other one. Both should have been overturned from above without a coach standing on the sideline having to do anything about it. One of them was, one of them wasn't. What the hell? So that's what I want you to discuss as I look for this radio call.
Right. Well, I'm with you. I disagree. I like J.J. Watt. I thought he was pretty good. I think he's doing a pretty good job, being that this is his first year, and I never thought that he would be able. I never thought of him in color guy type of territory. I thought he was all right. But that aside, yeah, there's got to be a better way. There has to be some I don't know, known system that needs to be explained to fans, because it becomes very uncomfortable. And talk about a swing that happened. One, that play should not have counted. It should have been brought back. But then 2, if Cooks just catches the ball, first of all, catch the ball.
That would have been cool.
That's a touchdown. So now the score is 7-0 to start, like 2.5 minutes in, instead of the other way around. So should have been 7-0 Bills. So I think I'm with you. I think, fans need to have that explained to them, why that happened and what the criteria is, because anybody watching, and I think J.J. Watt eventually pointed it out after the second one got overturned, saying very clearly, Bills fans are probably sitting at home saying, why is this one being so quick?
Yeah, he did have
and the
that.
other one
That's
didn't? And, what the hell is going on? For fans, I think if there is something there or why that didn't happen, that needs to be explained from the league. because rightfully so. Fans are like, what the hell is why? Why? And the other one not happen. So I'm with you on that. I still think overall they do a fairly decent job with doing it. And I like the idea of the immediate thing, unlike the college setup where we have to stop the game. The official has to go over. He has to look at an iPad, talk to somebody up in the booth, instead of just having someone in the booth say, "Hey, that was incomplete. Bring it back. Should be second down at the 30 now instead of first down at the goal line."
Yes, I mean
So,
that's the perfect version, but the version I would accept is the one where somebody goes, "Hey, stop it! Don't run a play. We got to talk about this." That's what I need. You shouldn't be able to undercut the entire system by running up to snap the ball.
And the other side of that though is, you start doing that for every play, and now it ruins the flow of the game? Are you stopping the clock when that happens, which becomes an advantage to one team or the other? When do you do that? And I think the one thing that you don't want is, you don't want your game to look anything like the last minute in an NBA game.
Okay.
Where every single call has to be looked at, and the last minute of the half becomes 35 minutes, and you're like, what the hell is going on? I think that it's time that the NFL needs to really start looking at having actual officials, because to go along with another thing that happened with replay yesterday, Drake May is clearly down 3 yards, 4 yards inbounds on his knees and slides out of bounds where the clock should have kept going.
This is at the end of the half.
They stopped the clock.
Yeah,
at the end of the half.
Yeah,
that changes the entire complexion of the way the rest of that goes, because now you're talking about timeouts. Now you're talking about it just changes the entire complexion if that's there. Instead, the official makes a terrible call, saying, "Nah, he's out of bounds."
Hairston is right there, swinging his arm in circles, going, running the clock, running.
I mean, every human being on earth saw that he was inbounds, except for the one that was 3 feet away.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And that one's not on replay. That one's on terrible human officiating, which then
they did the best they could with that.
Affects the outcome.
They did the best they could with that. They ran 10 seconds, except after running 10 seconds, they put 2 seconds back on, which I don't understand. I'd like an explanation of that.
I think what they're saying is he's down inbounds with 15 seconds to go, and the 10-second runoff would be from when he's down. And then it becomes 15 seconds, but it's
not okay.
Basically, it's not okay because it gave them an extra timeout.
It gave them a field goal. Give them 3 points.
It gives them. I think they would have gotten back up there, but it would have been a harder field goal. They would have been further away. They wouldn't have been able to run up and run that play up the middle, because then it at least gave them a chance to get on the ball with the clock still stopped. And like, all right, we're going to start it on my whistle. Yeah, but everyone's all set up instead of Drake May sliding out of bounds with 15 seconds to go.
Right.
And now he's got to get up. Now everybody's got to get back in line. Now everybody's got to set up. Now, they're losing all that time in there. I just, I know that I read this week that there's an impending officials union thing coming up here. And I don't know. We just have to figure out a way for stuff like that. I know humans are humans. They're going to make mistakes.
Sure.
They got to get better. And if a way to do that is to make some of these guys full time, and when something like that happens, you can only do it a couple times or you're going to be out of a job. And instead now it's like they do that, and that's just the way it is. That sucks.
Right.
Sorry.
It's crazy. The clock didn't start on the play up the middle that they ran with 6 seconds left in the game. The clock never ran. And then they just made it up and decided. Now, I went back and timed it, and they got it about right. It was about a 4-second situation. So they put 2 seconds on the clock. But the Patriots run up the middle, slide. The Bills touched them, which stinks. Don't touch them. The clock will just run out. But I think it was Henderson. Slides. But the clock clock still said 6 seconds when he slid. And then they made it up and gave him 2 seconds and allowed them to call the timeout. All of it just seemed so made up in the moment. I want to go after Gillette Stadium, honestly. The clock right there, I mean, that is very typical of what happened during all of Belichick's run there. All the little rumors you heard about, hot water and heat and cold things and replay videos that were available to one team but not the other, and headsets not working. And guess what? Vrabel's back, and suddenly the Patriots are back, and suddenly the clock doesn't work the right way again. So there is something to that that I think is worth investigating. I know they're real sensitive about Deflategate after Spygate and all that, but it's because they've been up to shady shit for 30 years that we're looking at them in this way. The clock didn't run with 6 seconds left. Who's in charge of the clock? Someone that works for the Patriots. And then they're given the timeout, and the time is probably right, but you're forcing people in real time to make a decision about what should have maybe kind of happened. Oh, sorry, my bad, I didn't start the clock. This isn't my buddy Marty running the clock at the Amherst Youth basketball game the other day, where a couple times you're like, hey, dude, run the clock. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry. That's not the same thing. This is somebody who is attempting, for sure, someone in that stadium was attempting to make sure the Patriots had the chance to kick the field goal by not starting the clock with 6 seconds left. That happened, and it just slid by, and it's fine because the Bills won the game. But I just saw something when I'm looking for this touchdown call that you're talking about Vrabel not being happy with officiating. Screw you. They're on your team. Your stadium is rooting for you and helping you. And you're going to talk about how you didn't like the pass interference call late in the game? Well, you can't hit a guy when the ball's in the air. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. I feel very suspicious of like a conspiracy to prevent the Bills from winning yesterday. Not league-wide, but New England-wide. And it didn't work, so it's okay. But it's not okay that the clock didn't run with 6 seconds left, because we're talking about the other stuff. But why didn't the clock start? Why did the clock not start when the ball was handed off that late in the first half? Why? No answer for that.
Well, you have a lot of scar tissue from this. So,
I hate it. I hate it. It's garbage.
I had another interesting moment yesterday. For some reason, I couldn't get the Giants game. They had Eagles Raiders on. I couldn't see the Giants face the Washington Commandos, and so in one of the breaks, I was able to turn it over to Red Zone.
Yeah.
And catch it when it was up there and see a little bit, and saw a Giants touchdown, and then eventually later in the game, it was over. So my son, who is a big Bills fan, had just watched the big comeback and win, and he's sitting there on the couch, the other end of the couch from me, and he says, well, I know that stinks, but at least you're getting a better draft pick. And I said, no, we're not. He said, you lost. I said, they're picking first. We're already the worst. A loss doesn't mean I get 2 number ones. It just means that we're extra crap.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know you're trying to say a nice thing, and I appreciate it, but you're actually just tweaking me on accident, because I can't get a better pick. They're already last. They're
Can't pick
terrible.
0.
Right.
That's not a
I
thing.
can't pick 0. I can't pick 1 and then 1A, because they're extra garbage. We're just trash. Just straight trash. Just straight trash.
Trash for the quarterback, though. You got a quarterback.
Who got checked out for a 5th time in 10 games.
Oh, it
for
happened
a
again?
concussion. Yeah.
All right. Well, never mind then.
Slower start, but he did turn it around. He made some big plays, some good scrambles. Tracy got it going on the run a little bit at certain points in that game, and they were able to, again, they did some nice things, but for all of the money and draft picks invested in the defense, to not be able to come away with a win over a team that had lost 8 straight and had Marcus Mariota at quarterback, and you're at home, is a very tough pill to swallow. They've got every number one pick in the last 8 years on their defensive line, and they can't stop anybody. They can't stop anybody. So it's, as the weeks go on here, it clearly wasn't Dable, because they just are losing the same way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It wasn't just him problem. It's been the same thing, and I'm wondering if the more that we go on here, if Shane isn't also going to be on the chopping block. Because, all right, so you need a new coach. We keep hearing, and we keep saying and thinking there is talent here. At a certain point, you need to say, maybe there's not. Maybe there's not. Maybe these guys just suck. Like,
Right.
they're high draft picks. Yes, they're our
Right,
draft picks.
But who picked him?
But they suck. But apparently they suck, because I'm seeing them lose every week for 3 years. So maybe they all just blow, instead of saying, oh, well, they just don't have the coaching. Maybe it's the coaching is bad, plus they all blow. They're losers. They gotta go.
If I owned a football team, I think I could see a way to fire a coach in the middle of the season. I don't think I would ever fire a general manager in the middle of the season. I might decide
Well, no.
I might decide in the middle of the season that I'm firing a general manager, but I wouldn't do it in the middle of the season. I would wait until the day after the season, and then I would say, yeah, we got a lot of things to fix, and we need somebody new in charge of fixing those things. It ain't going to be you. You built this, so you got to go. So this is, I don't know, sort of like a consolation, or I'm trying to make you feel better. I think he might be gone.
There's no feeling
They just didn't
better.
do it. No, he
They
might be.
suck.
I'm just saying he might be gone. They just didn't do it yet. Because why would you do it now? Then what? Like, you still got to finish the season. So let him keep showing up to work and whatever. The day to fire the GM, even if you decide in October to do it, the day to do it is going to come in January. And I think that's probably right. I have video of the third touchdown from the Patriots, but it might be the CBS broadcasters. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm going to play it out loud right now, and we'll see how we did.
You do, or?
Oh, I do.
You walked in with no shirt today.
That's true. Henderson! He's going the distance! And he's gone! It's all cooking for New England. 52 yards for the Rook.
All right, now that's the CBS broadcast. We don't have I don't know how to find the radio one. How do I find the radio one?
I saw it on Twitter. Let me see if I can.
Well, I'm on
if I can
Twitter.
find it here.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Patriots repost of the Patriots post, and it's all TV, and it all thanks CBS. Second rushing TD. I don't know how to do it. What are you going to do? You're going to send it to my phone? What are you going to do if you do find it? Just tell me. Don't send it to me, because that's not going to work, because you're talking through the phone, so I can't play it through the phone.
I'll find it.
You're right, and then what? What will you do once you find it? What's going to happen there?
I'll send it to you.
How? On the phone? Then I'm not going to be able to do it.
Looking.
I just want to know what
while I'm looking-
account to look at. I don't know what account to look for to find the radio call of the Patriots game.
While I'm looking, I think we should say, there should be something said about the end of the Chiefs dynasty.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
I think all three. I think when Mahomes gets back, he won't have Kelsey and he won't have Reed. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think they're not going to have. Kelsey's done. I think the big defensive tackle is probably going to get moved.
Jones.
Yeah. So
It's over.
Okay. All right, I think I found it.
Okay. So what are you going to do here? Are you going to tell me where to find it? Don't send it to my phone. Don't send it to my phone.
I just texted it to you.
That doesn't do me any good. I'm talking to you on that phone. Just tell me where it is.
But look it up.
I'm not going to look it up. All right, I'll look it up.
What I did was on Twitter, I searched Patriots Radio 21-0. and then it was like the third or fourth thing
All right.
down.
Pay the Bills
So-
pod is what I'm going to look for here. You can talk more about the death of the Chiefs if you want. Parsons injury. I was all in on the Packers last night, or whatever, the late game, late afternoon, whatever. Because once the Bills won, I was like, Denver loses, the Bills are one game from the 1 seed here.
Yeah,
And so
right.
I was super into it. And then once Parsons was out, I felt like that wasn't happening.
No.
And that looks like an ACL
Watson
also.
went down too, right? And
Well, yeah, Watson got hurt first on an interception. That was that play. My God, deep ball. They were like just going for it. Like we're putting our foot on your throat right now. And I was like, oh, here we go. And then Surtain undercuts him on the play, and then Watson goes down. They call it a chest injury, but it certainly looked like a shoulder, rotator cuff, maybe, whatever. It looked like that. So he's already out. You see that happen. Like he's not coming back. And then the Parsons thing happens, and then the game is over. And now the 1 seed it's a pipe dream. I do think Denver still, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Denver Broncos, the 1 seed right now, Denver Broncos? Because to me, I'm still not impressed. I mean, obviously they're good. They're okay. But I don't see a massive difference between them and like the Jaguars or the Chargers or whatever, whoever these teams are that are going to be in the playoffs in the way of the Bills winning their Super Bowl. I don't see a massive distinction between Denver and the others. Do you?
No, again, Bo Nix. Am I scared of playing Bo Nix in the postseason?
That's what I mean.
No matter where the game is, and the answer to that is no, because you've got 17. So, I think if you're looking at from a Bills perspective in the AFC, I think the Jags are flying a little bit below the radar here. I don't know if they've necessarily got the defense quite lined up, but certainly their offense is something to think about because they are chucking it all over the place. But the Texans are really the team because they have the defense similar to the Broncos. The difference is their quarterback we've at least seen their quarterback do things.
Yeah.
It's been up and down, and he's had injuries, and it hasn't been great since that first season. But I have a much more respect for him as a quarterback than I do for Bo Nix. So the Texans, to me, are right. If you were probably going to make bets, I would probably lay it down on the Texans. They look great right now. And, the problem with the Broncos is the plan was always to have that be one game with a couple of games to go for the Bills. And the one thing that you were sitting on was, well, they got to go to Arrowhead, and the Chiefs are going to be playing to get into the playoffs. And now Mahomes is gone. They're eliminated from the playoffs, and that game has a completely different feel and meaning now where, all right, it's starting to feel like, yes, it is possible, but it becomes very unlikely, especially after the Packers game. But specifically, the fact that trip to Arrowhead now means nothing for the Chiefs and they don't have Mahomes it's a very different view of the last couple of games here trying to get the one.
I can't.
And listen, it's that Dolphins game. It's that Dolphins game where they just played with their food. That really is kind of the difference right now in everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Atlanta and I'm thinking about Miami. And obviously Miami matters more because it's divisional and conference and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm never going to get this thing to work. I can't possibly do it. I can't possibly play the audio from that thing. Oh yeah, I can. I can if actually it'll just play. You just don't talk. If you just don't talk, it'll play fine. Hold on.
I won't talk at all.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Maybe. Playback error. Come on. You talking about playback error? Try again. Playback error. It's not working. It's not going to work.
Can I play
Sure it
it?
was
Can
on.
you hear it from my phone?
Yeah.
You could?
I don't see why I couldn't. I hear you.
All right, let's see. We'll see here. Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, so no, it doesn't work.
I'm going to try mine again. I want so badly for this to play. It just says playback error every time I hit play.
You've got it on your computer?
No, I've got it on my phone because you texted it to me, and I told you don't text it to me. So my thought is...
But I sent it to you so you could see it, and then you could call it up on your...
Well, right, but it's pay the bills pod /status /1,000 numbers while I'm trying to do a show. It's, all right, I'm going to... If I copy this... And then I put it in an email. You're staying here until we make this happen. So hang on.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to go Gmail. If I go Gmail, and then I send an email to myself. Compose. Send it to me. I don't need a subject. I just need a message. I'm going to paste that. All right, we've got the link. I'm sending it to myself. Now I'm going to open Gmail on the computer. This is so stupid. This better be good, dude. This going to be good?
It's not. It's not going to be good.
All right, no subject. Here it is. All right, I'm going to hit.
Let me tell you what. I wish.
I don't want. All right,
I wish that somehow I had just rickrolled you.
that would be great.
This would have been a great rickroll.
That would be really good. It'd be a
But it's
20-minute segment where you get to hear Rick Astley. All right, I'm gonna hit this link and we'll see how it goes. It might be there. This might happen. All right, the thing's on the screen.
If you're a Buffalo Bills fan right now, what are you thinking? Your window is closed. There's a new AFC East champ, and they wear all blue here today. This is out the gate. What a block. What a formation. Deep handoff by Drake May to Travion Henderson. They're in blitz. They pick up the edge, and the entire offense is celebrating. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan right now, what are you thinking? Your window is closed.
Wow.
There's a new AFC East champ, and they wear all blue here today. This is out the gate. What a block. What a formation. Deep handoff by Drake May to Travion Henderson. They're in blitz. They pick up the edge, and the entire offense is celebrating.
Okay. Making that more interesting. Pretty sure that's former Bills nose tackle Fred Smerlas.
I don't think so.
You don't? Because I do. I'm going to now find out who's on the Patriots radio crew. Radio broadcast team
There's a
2025.
great deal of humble pie being served over there.
Wow, that was terrible. That was terrible.
I'll tell you what Bills fans were thinking. Touchdown, stop, touchdown.
Right.
Well, that's what they should have been thinking.
I don't know who that is, but
Who is it?
I don't know. I can't figure it out on the fly. This is why being a one-man show sucks, man. I need a team of people. I need somebody to look this stuff up while I'm having a conversation. The show can't be me doing this, you know? Look up Dave Portnoy celebrating. Too funny. I'm sure that's
That was a big one too. That was a big one on social media as well.
So let me ask you this. You hang out doing social media stuff while watching football and also texting me? Because to me, like, I text with you only during games because I'm watching the game. I don't need the opinions of everybody else. I don't even like the opinions of the people in my house while a game's going on. The only person I think at this point that I like watching football with is you. So I text with you, but you're listening to what like the world is saying during a game and also communicating with me during a game? Because that's crazy to me.
Yeah, sometimes. As I'm watching Bills because of,
You're connected to
my
Buffalo.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not watching as a fan. I'm watching as whatever.
But you
and so
kind of
sometimes I look.
are. They're like you care.
Yeah.
They mean something to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, New England Patriots Radio, Bob Saki and Scott Zolak.
Yeah, but I think there's a third guy. Smurless has been involved. Zolak doesn't have that stupid accent, does he? Or maybe he's from there.
But that's from AI.
Yeah, no, I had that already. I'm going to look up Scott Zolak and see if he would sound like that. Is he from there? Because you have to be from there to sound that ridiculous. No, he's from Pittsburgh. That's not Zolak talking. I mean, I guess he could have lived in New England for the last 30 years, and now he's developed that awful accent. But I don't think it's him.
Well, according to the, Jesus,
Three
gotta have,
person.
according to 98.5, the Sports HUD,
Yeah.
the flagship station for Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, and New England Revolution. Scott Zolak has spent 8 seasons in a Patriots uniform, and now he returns for an 11th season as action analyst on the network.
Right, but you're even 19 years into the Boston community doesn't make you sound like a moron from an accent standpoint, I don't think. It doesn't turn you,
Well, no, what makes you sound like a moron is all the
words.
years getting hit.
Oh, yeah, maybe. All right, let's do it again and see if it's possibly Zolak. We're going to play it again.
If you're a Buffalo Bills fan right now, what are you thinking?
That's not how Scott Zolak talks. Scott Zolak sounds like a quarterback. This doesn't sound like a quarterback. This sounds like... I want to say it sounds like Smurless, but he's too young.
Your window is closed.
That's what Smurless sounds like. All right, I'm going to just Google Smurless. All right, Fred Smurless, Patriots Radio. See what happens. What happened to Fred Smurless? Okay, Fred Smurless, Frederick Charles Smurless. Great job on the. He's from Massachusetts. He's 68 years old. That's what it sounded like to me. Is he on the radio? Let's search within this page for the word radio. This is why we need a staff, man.
You need interns.
I need a lot of stuff. Yeah. Currently resides in Massachusetts and is a part-time co-host during football season on Sports Radio WEEI and a contributor to Wham in Rochester. No, it's not him. I don't know. Whatever.
Scott Zolak. That's who it is.
I don't think it is.
And he declared the window closed on Josh Allen just as Allen was preparing to step through the window.
Yeah.
And
do you root for injuries?
no.
I do.
No, I think that's bad luck.
I don't do it openly and out loud. Well, I do it out loud like in the comfort of my own home. But I've been rooting for Mahomes to be hurt for a long time. And then he gets hurt in the moment when I don't need him to be hurt because the team's out and I think the team's falling apart anyway, and it's fine. They've got 6 wins. Who cares? So I don't need him hurt. But the things I said out loud yesterday about Drake May, they don't belong on the show. Like I won't say them on the show, but I was saying them, and I don't know. It probably makes me a bad person. But I would like him cleared out of my life. Like there is going to be a Bills Patriots thing for the foreseeable future if Drake May is the one quarterback and Josh Allen is the other quarterback. And I like the part where there was no competition because it ain't Tua and it ain't whatever the Jets are doing. But it is Drake May. And if he were to disappear from the league, I think that would be better for the Bills. So it's not and I like him. Like I'm kind of rooting for him. I like watching him. I think he's cool. I look forward to seeing him play more. But the psycho Bills fan in me is not a huge fan of that guy being in the division. And some of the things I've said out loud are not nice.
I think that a lot of people had the similar impression of Mahomes too. Like, oh, cool. Kansas City hasn't won in a long time, and they're one of the old programs. And all right, and he's making some crazy plays. I find it entertaining to watch him, and that got old real quick.
Yeah.
So you're hoping that that's not a similar situation with Drake May.
Well, I like the duel. I like that part of it. I like the
That's
part
fun.
where it's,
Yeah.
I liked when I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I liked Brady and Manning going at each other. I liked Kelly and Marino going at each other because Kelly always won. That was helpful. And maybe Allen will always win against Drake May, and that'll be fine. But Josh Allen is such a special football player that we don't have windows and this kind of stuff. It's like, no, that guy exists. While he exists, the window's open. And to think about anyone even remotely considering that a window closes because Josh Allen loses this player or that player or whatever, as long as he is this version of him, and eventually he'll be less mobile and relying on, he'll be able to answer questions like Phillip Rivers, where it's like, what do you weigh right now? He's like, I have no idea. It's not good, but I don't run anyway, so who cares? And like when you get to Josh Allen not running anyway, and he's just a really smart quarterback who's got a really good arm, then we can start talking about a window closing. But for as long as he's just the most multifaceted weapon that the NFL has ever seen, you don't get to just be a second-year quarterback who's won 10 straight games against crap opponents and start thinking you're in the same realm as a team with Josh Allen. You just don't get to do that. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm frustrated by the lack of respect for the best player I've ever seen play football.
Well, I think that they've got it. If they had lost it there for a little bit, it has been regained. There should be put some respect on that.
Yeah, but I want to hear what Vrabel's saying about officials now. Like, what's his beef? Because I got 75 things that went wrong, and I think your stadium is cheating on your behalf. So, and you still lost. So shut up. I will say I like Vrabel so much better without the mustache and with no facial hair. Facial hairless Vrabel seems like a guy I would hang out with. Thoughts?
It was, but your thoughts. I've never thought one way or the other about Vrabel
I have.
and his facial hair. Every time I've seen him interviewed, he seems like he's not fun to hang out with.
Oh, really?
He seems intense.
Yeah.
He seems very, very intense.
All right. You want to end the show? We should end the show. We're just talking. I have so many things right now that I didn't do the Brad Van calendar. Do you know about the Brad Van calendar?
Yeah, you told me about the Brad Van calendar.
All right, I've got a plan for the Brad Van calendar. It's called Duck Bunny. All right, YouTube Duck Bunny. These what I'm doing is giving a little gift to the listeners and viewers of Riter Radio every day from now through Christmas. We are 10 days from Christmas. I say every day. It won't be every day because I'm not doing a show on Christmas Eve, and I'm not doing a show on Christmas. But the Brad Van calendar is going to open here in just a moment.
That is weak.
With something
no Christmas? We're not going to get a Christmas episode?
No. Do you want a Christmas episode?
Thought that we were going to get a Christmas episode. Maybe you
Oh, not that.
I saw Santa Claus shaving one time, and now that he's got that facial hair back, he looks like a guy I could hang out with.
That's good. All right, we're gonna
Your
put
thoughts.
thoughts. All right, I'm putting this on. I'm putting this on the screen. It's not going to be nearly as good for you because you're only listening. But I will describe what's going to happen. It is it's Donald Duck dressed up as the Easter Bunny, and it's a toy, like a wind 'em up, turn 'em on type of toy. He's sitting on a dining room table at my parents' house, and he sings this song, and then he just walks right off the table and falls flat on the floor. And it's 10 seconds long, and it's great, but you, Scott, will not see it. You'll just hear it. You can go back and watch the YouTube version of the show after the fact. but I'm going to play it right now. This is the first opening of the Brad Vent calendar. Brad Vent calendar is obviously a countdown to Christmas. You all are familiar with the concept of a Brad Vent calendar. You've been hearing that phrase your whole life. Brad Vent, Brad Vent. What is Brad Vent? It's the period leading up to Christmas. This is also the video is shot sideways because it's so old that I didn't know to turn the phone or the whatever I shot it on. So this is going to be a duck. It's Donald Duck as the Easter Bunny walking off of a table and then landing on the floor. Here we go. Brad Vent calendar. All right, I'm going to give it to you one more time. Scott, I know it's no good. All right, we're done with that. What'd you think? Your thoughts? No, it was great. You just couldn't see it. But it's a duck. It's a duck walking off of a table and then landing flat on the floor and still singing a song, no interruption. But you can't really hear him because he's muffled because he's face down. And then we flip him over, and then you can hear him singing the song again. It's a very good 15-second piece of video. Sorry, 23-second piece of video. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome for that. All right, Scott, we're done. I'll talk to you Friday. Later, man. Scott Wilson. It's Riter Radio. It's episode 226. So many things I didn't get to. I didn't know Rob Reiner. I didn't like that. Kind of took over the show. That sucks. I guess I should. I got to watch that second Spinal Tap movie. I was very excited that it came out. I miss Rob Reiner. I also hate how much I had a picture of Rob Reiner up on the screen, who I consider much older than me, and how much the picture of him recently looks like I look right now. Got to do something about this gray beard, because damn it, I got a lot of Rob Reiner going on. So R.I.P. Rob Reiner. That sucks. Thanks to Scott Wilson. Get out of here, Patriots, with your stupid 10-game winning streak and your horrible call about windows being closed and all that. And you're cheating and you're run the clock. Run the clock. Run the clock when the game is going. You don't get to steal 3 points. We're just going to let that go? The NFL's not going to do anything about that? Maybe they will. But, I mean, seriously, in what world does the clock not start on that play? And then they just have to make it up. Like, I don't know. We'll give them a timeout with 2 seconds. In the way that I would do it at, like, a youth game where there aren't mechanisms in place. And there isn't, there aren't $1 million contracts involved. $1 billion television contracts involved. We're still letting them do that. We're still letting the Patriots do that, not run the clock. I know the Bills won. But I think what I'm saying carries more weight because they won. It's not like, oh my God, they got screwed and lost because of this. No, they got screwed and won despite it. The clock not running with 6 seconds left is garbage. The other thing is it's tough because the play, May goes down, he's inbounds, clock should run, they've got one timeout left. They should be forced into a situation where they got to kick from there. It's a little bit of a longer field goal, but we have to make something up because they blew the call. So then they bring in the 10-second runoff, but then they take 2 seconds off of the 10-second runoff. How and why? By rule, there's a 10-second runoff, they say. I don't read the book. I don't know. But by rule, sounds like by rule. So how does 10 become 8? And then the clock doesn't start on the previous or the following play, because on that play, they throw deep, and it's incomplete, and it stops with 2 seconds, or 8, 10. I don't remember. I just know it was all messed up, and it was all favoring the team that was trying to kick a field goal at the end of the half to keep themselves alive, because they were going to win the division yesterday, because Josh Allen's done. That run, this whole cute little thing where the best player that's ever played football is the quarterback for the Bills. That's over because Drake May is here. Get out of here, Patriots. Piss off. Shout out to Mike O'Brien. You the man. He's the only person in Boston I like. All right. We're going to stop. I'm done. Want Christmas music or should I just leave? We'll do music. Do a little music. And I'll be back tomorrow at 10. Again, happy birthday to my dad, Gary. If you run into my dad today, be like, damn, you old. Damn. Do that. Say that to him. You don't have to say the you old part. He'll get it. Just go, damn, like that. And he'll be like, they got me. They got me real good. 77. It's too many. My son told me when I said it when I was 40, he said, that's too many. He was like 5. Daddy, that's too many. He's right. 40 was too many. 51's too many. 77's too many. All right. We're done. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Bye.